All right, hello and welcome. This is your TinkerCAD basics video. This is pretty much everything you should know when you're getting into TinkerCAD. Now, this is a kids program, but it's a powerful program. It is very capable. The next step up from this might be Fusion. Um, but again, Autodesk has made this very powerful, full of features. So anyway, let's get into it. Up here, you've got the TinkerCAD logo on the top left. This you can click anytime and it'll take you back here to your home screen. Over here on the left side, you've got different tabs. You've got home. This is where you're going to find all your different designs. Notice I've got a more than 226 3D designs. There are circuits that you can build, and there are code blocks which you can build. In case you are in classes, you can click on that. These are my particular designs, and up across the top you've got the 3D designs, the circuits, and the code blocks that you have created. You can search through your designs. Now obviously there should be a limit to how many designs a particular account has available, but I haven't seen that yet. I keep going and going, and it just lets me design more, and it saves them all here in my designs. Now, if you want, you can add collections. You can put different designs into groups, which they call collections, in case you're one of those very organized people and you want to put all your different particular designs, maybe your home designs in one, your work designs in another, or so forth. Tutorials, that's just what it is. Have a learn. Click on some of these and learn a few new things. Challenges, these are quite fun. There are often challenges. You might see them up here. You can also go to your TinkerCAD gallery and things, and there are challenges that you might want to partake in, right? So for today, we're going to go to 3D design. Up here on the top right, there is a create button, and we're going to create a new 3D design. Once it's loaded, you have first the TinkerCAD logo, like I said, up here in the top left corner. This is the name of your file. I highly suggest that you change this name pretty much the first thing that you do. So in this case, I'm going to change it. It's going to be example number 1. Yay. Right, and across the top ribbon, you've got different categories. Now this is the sim lab. The sim lab you're gonna have to watch in another video. There's a lot to learn. It is super fun, very cool, very powerful as well. In case you want to see what your design looks like in sort of Minecraft world, and you want to see what your design looks like in a Lego world, and then you can go and share your project, and then you can click on your account. So that's the different things. I'm going to go back to the TinkerCAD tab. Now across this ribbon, we've got copy buttons, paste buttons, the duplicate button, which is super cool, very powerful, the delete the trash, the undo and redo button. Now I like to use the keyboard shortcuts. Notice in green it says Control plus Y. That is the keyboard shortcut for redo. Please take note of those and try to teach yourself to use the keyboard shortcuts. Your life's going to be a lot easier. Your projects are going to be done in half the time if you use the keyboard shortcuts. Now over here, we've got a little bit of a new button. This is the show all or hide all. So if you want to hide some particular things, you can go ahead and hide it in here. And the bundle group, this will group objects and it won't delete holes. And this particular union group, this will join everything and it's going to cut holes. It's going to make everything one piece, and it's going to suck out all your holes in case you have some. Now, in case you made a mistake, you can ungroup things and go back and change them. Over here is align. and this is your mirror. This is another very popular tool. And the cruise tool, which drags things onto the top or sides or whatever of other shapes. And the very new tool, which is measure, the shape work plane. This is in case you want to slide something around in a particular angle. You can use this work plane to do it. Now, if something is floating, you can use the D key and it'll drop it down. So you can import shapes and different files into TinkerCAD to edit them. Of course, when you're done with your files, you can export them or you can send them to somewhere. All right, now you have different work plane tools. The measure tool, I like this measure tool. The ruler tool is quite functional as well. That's what we had. That's all we had before we had the measure tool. So then if you want notes, you want to put comments on your projects. Over here, you've got all of the shapes, and in here, the libraries that you have. So when you click on one, you can get different types of shapes. If you want more shapes, go ahead and click on that. Now, you got to be careful with these because some of these, like the Arduino, for example, you can click on it, just left click, and then click on your work plane to drag it in. Left click to drag it in, or you literally click and hold and drag your shape in. Now, if you don't want this shape, go ahead and delete it. If it's selected, you can just delete it with the delete icon or use the delete key on your keyboard. Now, why I said be careful, because some of these shapes, where like here it says scaling is locked. That means when I click on a handle, I can't change the size of these particular shapes. So it's meant to be life-sized, and it's supposed to fit in particular places. So you don't want to change the size of it because you want to know if this can fit in your particular 3D design. All right, so I'm going to delete those. I'm going to click on the words electronics and go back into our shapes library and click on basic shapes again. Now, you've got solid shapes. How do you know they're solids? Well, if we look here in the parameters, it says it's a red solid shape. If you don't like it being red, click on the color and choose a new one. Now, if you want to see inside of this particular shape, maybe you've got another shape inside and you want to see what is in there, you can click on the color and you can turn it to transparent and you can see what's inside of this shape. Now, using your mouse, you're going to use the left click to select, to click on handles, to resize. You can rotate with these double arrows. You see there's one here. There's one here. And there's another one. If I use my right mouse button, I can orbit and I find another set of double arrows. And so I can rotate this in 3 different axes, right? X, Y, and Z, I guess. All right, now about these particular shapes, you can resize them, you can rotate them in any direction. If you click a white handle, that's these white squares, it will resize it on 2 planes, in 2 dimensions, right? So we can stretch it this way and that way. Now you click these black ones and it resizes it in 1 direction. You can invert and go back upon itself. So white goes 2 ways, black goes 1 way. Now, if you already know the size that you want, you don't have to fight it and try to get it to the exact size. Just click the number and then you can change it. If I wanted this 55, hit 55. Change this to 55 and then click somewhere or hit enter. And there it is. My shape is 55 by 55. Now the Z-axis is the center white handle. Now it's white, but it only goes in one direction. So you can do the same with the height. You can change that just by typing, or you can drag the handle. Now, if you wanted, you could put this particular shape on top. There is a cone on the top of every shape, and you can drag these cones and you can lift your shape. Notice now there's a shadow down there, and that particular measurement, let me go and hit D. Let's lift it up again. Notice on the right side here, there's a measurement that shows me how high I've just lifted this shape. And now it's up to 50. If I go up to 55, I should be at the top of my blue cube, my blue square. And I can just click and drag this. If you want, you can use the arrow keys. So you can go forward, left, down, right? Left, right, forward, down. And you can use the arrow keys to maneuver your shape into place. If not, go ahead and use your mouse. Now, notice these handles exist on everything I have selected. Some people have problems selecting their shape and changing the size because they're too far away. If you use your scroll wheel on your mouse, you can zoom in and you can zoom out. Wherever you put your mouse pointer is where it's going to zoom in. So, for example, I want to zoom in on the cylinder. I'll put my mouse over the cylinder and I can zoom right in. If I want to zoom in on the rectangular cube, I can go ahead and do that by selecting or putting my mouse over that particular shape, right? Now, let's look at more different shape properties. Over here in the properties tab, there is something called sliders, and you can slide these and you can change your shape. Notice my box is now a circle because I've changed the radius value so much. So the steps, let's see what that does. The length, the width, and the height. Now, if something ever goes crazy, don't worry. Just click the back arrow, the undo arrow. I like to use the keyboard shortcut Control Z. It's a lot easier for me. Again, try to get used to using your keyboard shortcut as much as possible. All right, now I'm going to use the right mouse arrow, the right mouse button, and I'm going to try and get my shapes back onto the work plane. Let's click this little guy, move him over here. So let's see, when you're working with these shapes, always try to zoom and orbit around and make sure that you don't have anything that is, for example, floating from here. It looks perfect. It looks fine. My shape is okay. It's sitting on the top of the box. But if you zoom in and you orbit down, you might notice that in fact your shape is floating. And when it comes to 3D printing or making something that is one particular shape, that obviously won't work. They're not touching each other. So you use your right mouse button and you need to orbit around and make sure that everything is okay, right? Now, if you want to add some words to your particular shape, let's go ahead and label this weird little thing that we've got going on here. Let's go ahead and put shapes, words on here. So this is called text. I used this tool right here. This is called the text tool. And you stick this on here and you can put it on any angle. You can resize it just like any other particular shape. I can make it deeper or thinner. And I can use the cone. Notice the cone right here. Remember we used the cone to lift the cylinder? Well, now notice this green box around here. That is a work plane. So my text is stuck to that green plane. It's going to follow that plane until I click away. All right, so I've got my text on the box. Let's go ahead and change what it says. So if I click in the properties tab I'm going to change text to BOX. Right? There it is. How tall do I want to bevel to make my words a little bit more rounded? And here are the segments to make it smoother and without those sharp edges as well. So the bevel, if you add the bevel and the segments, it gets smoother and smoother and smoother, or a little bit more rough. And this is just personal preference. If you're 3D printing, you might want to mess with this because it changes what your 3D print looks like. Now, be careful, the bevel also changes the back of your print as well. And now notice it's not touching our box anymore. So we're going to use that cone. We're going to have to push that back in. Now it's attached to our box. So these two shapes are not together yet. If I wanted to move these around, well, I have to select both of them at the same time. So if I click this and I hold shift and click the box, now I can move both of these around at the same time. Well, what about our cylinder? Oh, shift click that as well. All right, now I can move everything around. I can resize everything as long as it's all selected. I can resize it. Now, holding shift does something spectacular. When you hold shift, it resizes in every axis, and it does it congruently. It does it all at the same time. So you don't lose the shape, you just change the size. What I mean by that is without shift, well, you notice our cylinder is not a cylinder anymore. It's stretching and everything. So if we go back, we undo that. Now when I hold shift, we're changing the size. We're not changing the shape. That's a powerful thing to remember. All right, now I want to move these around, but I don't want to keep shift clicking all three shapes. So let's click somewhere in space. Just click around the edges, and we're going to drag a selection pane around our shapes. And then I want to group them together. Now I can click away, deselect. When I select them, I can move them, resize them, and they're all one shape. Now we lost our color. If that bothers you, go ahead and click your colors. See this where it says multicolor, choose that, and it'll go back to being multicolored. Let's turn the transparent off, and now we have our strange little box with a button on the top. Okay, all right. Now let's go ahead and cut some holes. This is one of the most powerful features of TinkerCAD. Now let's take and put a hole in the side of our box. Let's say that we want to put a hole all the way through the side of our box. As of now, I don't know why we want to do that, but let's just say we do, right? So I'm going to shift click and resize this a little bit. And I want to go ahead and put this on the side. I could rotate it and then move it over and then move it up and then stretch it through, and that works. That's okay. That does the job. But there's another tool up here called the cruise tool. That's the letter C. So when you click C, a little white ball appears on your shape. Click that little white ball, and now I can cruise this tool, this shape around, and it's gonna sit wherever my mouse pointer clicks. I can cruise this shape to wherever I want. And this is an easy way of getting this shape where I want. So remember, before the cruise tool, I rotated, I slid it over, and then I raised it up. That's a few more steps than doing this. Letter C, click, drag, done. So saves a lot of time. I like the cruise tool. All right, let's extend it and then use the cone to move it into our shape. Now let's use the right click and make sure we're all the way through. Uh-oh, we're not quite through yet. So we're gonna have to extend it and push it back through. Now we're all the way through. So it's really important that you orbit around and you're checking what you're doing. Now, I want this in the center of this, but it's not quite there yet. So what I need to do is click these two objects to select both of them, and we're gonna do align. But an easier way, instead of shift, click, click, I could simply just select both of them with our selection tool. And now let's do the align tool. See these little balls at the top, middle, and bottom? If I want these two shapes to be aligned at the top, that's what I'll do. Or in the center, or possibly at the bottom. So in our case, let's put it in the center, and then over here in the center. All right, and there we have it. It is centered on our shape. Now, I want to go ahead and cut that hole out of the center. So let's go ahead and click the Union Group button. What's going to happen here is it's going to cut away that shape. And there we have our hole. I'm going to go back, get our hole back in there, and I'll show you what the other group button does. So we select both of our shapes. And now when I bundle group, what's happened is I've grouped the hole into our shape, but I have yet to cut the hole. So in case I want to cut the hole now, I'm going to have to ungroup, select, and do a union group, and then I can cut the hole. All right? So that's the difference between bundle group and union group, right? Now, in case you're uncomfortable with possibly your right mouse button and orbiting around, there is a box over here, a cube over here that you can use to get around. I find it much slower than just using your right mouse button, but if that's the way you like to do it, then go ahead and use it. Now, if something goes kind of crazy, I'm going to click my scroll wheel. So it's called the center click. And I'm going to pan over here. I'm going to push my work plane away. If something happens like this, just click on the home view button, right? Over here under the square, the cube, and it'll swipe you back to where you're supposed to be, right? That's the easy way to get back to the home view. All right, that is pretty much what you need to learn when you are first using TinkerCAD. From here, I suggest trying to make a few things and seeing what kind of problems that you run into. In the event that you're having problems, you can always leave a comment down below, and I always read all the comments and I will reply to you. And let's see if we can fix your problem. If you have questions, again, let me know. All right, this is stage 1, step 1. So if you're here learning, great. Let's move on to step 2.